Hey guys, we're going to be getting started in just a minute. I changed the times a couple of times because I was out doing mom things earlier and I just got home and I know that there was just a press conference like an hour ago. So I wanted to get into that. And then if you guys want to, we can circle around and talk about some other things. Just give me just a moment and we will get right into it. So, if you would, please hit the thumbs up so folk know that you're here. And that's the best way to help me at this moment. Spread the word is by hitting the thumbs up. I so appreciate it. And I will see you guys in just a minute or two. Hey guys, thanks for coming back this afternoon. What's going on? There was a press conference this afternoon, so we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Um, you may or may not have seen it. So let's get into it. Even if you've seen it, it's okay. We hadn't watched it together. So I'm broadcasting this from the actual Hoover, Alabama Police Department. So we'll get to see all of the wonderful comments on that side. Hello to everyone joining us. JS, Pineapples, uh, JS, Pineapples, Double H, um, Mastermind, Forever Grateful, Miss Brader's Life. How are you doing? Thank you for joining me over here this afternoon. Let's get into it. Farah and I were over at the Barbie. We went to go see Barbie this afternoon, and it was so good. We actually did do a little review and reaction in the car, what our thoughts were of the movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, maybe this will help you make your decision whether you want to go see it or not. In any case, let's get on with the business at hand. The Hoover, Alabama Police Department had a press conference. Let's get into it. Okay. It was funny because someone posted on here. They said, "I love when church gets started on time." Okay. That was the they opened up the live and you did have to wait for a few minutes, but um it was quite interesting. I'm gonna say I'll give you my general impressions when we're done. um there's a lot of people who are pissed at this girl. There's no getting around that. So um you guys can see the comments. I tried to set up so y'all could see real good. And get into it.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Keith Suscaleba with the Hoover Police Department. We're here today to provide an update in the Carlee Russell investigation. Chief Nick Durzis will read a prepared statement that will provide an update in this case. After reading the statement, we will have time for a few questions related to the case. Keep in mind, this is still an ongoing investigation, and there are some questions we simply cannot answer at this point. With that, I'll turn it over to Chief Durzis.
Thank you, Captain.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Thanks to everyone for attending again today. I want to thank the members of our department and all of law enforcement who played a role in the investigation of this case. Last Wednesday, July 19th, we held a press conference and provided you with the facts of the Carlee Russell disappearance. We told you the investigation was ongoing. We helped you determine where Carlee was during the 49 hours of her disappearance. Today, I've talked to and received a statement from Mr. Emery Anthony, attorney for Carlee Russell. Mr. Anthony has scheduled a meeting for Carlee to meet with investigators early this afternoon, but then I received an email stating that a statement was being provided by him on her behalf. Mr. Anthony asked that I read the statement in its entirety, which I will do now.
Okay, before he does that, I just want to, we're going to listen. I promise, you guys know me. I'm not even going to interrupt because I want to hear the whole thing. And then we're going to go through it and be like, what? Okay. Okay. Yes. And the comments. Okay. So let's just run through. That's why I went to the police department, because they're not coming for a copyright from moi. Okay, they put this out for the press, and even though I am unprofessional with it, I am a blogger over here on the YouTubes. So I said, let me go to the source, so I don't have to worry about anybody else, me trying to, all the things, right? Okay. Anywho, guys, let's get into it, and then we're gonna circle back around. So if you don't hear me talking, that's the reason why I'm gonna desperately keep my mouth closed. Okay, let's go.
My client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel with anyone during the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies, as well as to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter. Carlee, again, asks for your forgiveness and prayers. We have a meeting scheduled with Mr. Anthony to further discuss this case. We're currently in discussions with the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office in Bessemer about possible criminal charges related to this case, and we will announce those charges when and if they are filed.
All right, with that, we'll take a few questions. As Officer Hale said, when I call on you, please state your name and your affiliation. Yes, sir.
Keith Mims, WAGG 610 100.1 FM Summit Media. Chief, do we at this time, or does the Hoover Police Department know the whereabouts of Carlee Russell during that 49-hour period that she was supposedly missing?
Now, as I said the other day, was talking facts and everything. If I said anything today, would just be speculation. Actual facts, we do not.
Aaron Llewellyn, WBCM 13. Can you tell us what her motivation was for doing this, if you can?
I wish I could tell you. I think only Carlee knows, and maybe her attorney now. But again, the statement that we received from him does not indicate any.
For EGO-WBRC, can you give us an idea of what charges you may be filing against her?
That would strictly be up to the district attorney's office.
David Lamb, CBS 42, can you update us so that there is a meeting scheduled for this afternoon with the family, or
No.
when is that meeting?
Yeah, no, not a meeting with the attorney, not the family or Carlee. We have a meeting scheduled with the attorney, and that will take place some point tomorrow.
And there is no meeting with Carlee Russell or her family at this point?
Not scheduled, no, sir.
For you, Chapman, Fox 6, what's next to close this investigation?
Well, again, we want to talk to Mr. Anthony tomorrow and see if he has any more to discuss about the case. We'll certainly be asking if we'll get an opportunity to again interview Carlee like we've wanted to since she returned.
Chief Stephen Quinn, ABC 3340.
Yes, sir.
Your reaction now, knowing that Carlee has admitted that this was made up.
Well, I'm glad that we got this. You know, we certainly laid the facts out to you guys and to the national media that had a lot of interest in this particular case. The sad thing is that again, there were so many people that were involved, took this thing very, very seriously, and again, we wanted the focus to be bringing her home. She got home. We're very excited about that. It is what it is. The facts, I think, last Wednesday pretty much showed that we knew that it was a hoax.
Lisa Frank, WDTM 13, do you know the expense you went to during this search? And if you don't have a dollar figure for us, just how big it was for you guys?
Well, it was all hands on deck, and we don't have a dollar figure yet, but we're certainly working towards getting one, and not only ours, but there'll be other agencies that had a lot of support that they gave us and had monetary expenses themselves.
Jonathan, when JLR investigates, are the parents under any investigation?
You know, as I said the other day, we were going to try to determine exactly those 49 hours. So right now, you know, anything's on the table. We still don't know what happened in those 49 hours, where she was. Did she have any help? We have no idea. You know, I read the statement from Mr. Anthony. That's all we know.
Keith Mims, WAGG 16, Southern Media. Chief, let me ask you this. What do you think prompted or provoked Carlee to do this kind of thing? And are there any kind of mental issues that the police department or the public should be concerned about, or just what?
You know, not that I'm aware of. I mean, it's this is this was elaborate deal. I mean, when you talk about calling a 911 and being up on the interstate, again, it would all be conjecture. So really, I don't know. I was hoping that we'd have an opportunity to interview and we'd be able to ask her those questions.
Were any others involved in putting this story together for her?
Mr. Anthony, in his statement, says there was not.
Liliana Calmes, WBRC Fox 6 News. You said that you had a meeting scheduled and it kind of switched into a statement. Did they give any type of reason that switched?
No, they did not.
Right here.
Aaron Llewellyn, WBTM 13. But just for clarification, Carlee Russell is not in custody right now.
That is correct. That is correct.
Last question with David.
David Lamb, once again. So first of all, when did you actually see this letter? And second of all, do these admissions and the content of the letter alter the investigation at all?
No, not at all. We'll continue to investigate. We'll still try to determine where she was during those 49 hours. But I am glad that we received this. It at least puts some of the social media super sleuths hopefully at rest for a little bit as far as the conjecture of what everybody thinks took place. We know that by her own admission, it didn't happen. And, we're thankful for that.
All right. Thank you guys very much.
Okay, guys, you heard it. We're gonna circle back around, listen to it one more time. Okay. This was the Hoover Police Department, Hoover, Alabama Police Department live. This was about an hour ago. We were coming out of Barbie, and I got an urgent alert that this was happening, and I was like, okay, well, as soon as I get home, we'll go ahead and run with this, and that way we can kind of have a jumping off point, because I don't think this ends anything for Sis. I think that there's still a lot of people who are very interested in knowing the whereabouts of Sis at the time. And I don't know if she feels like because she wants it to be over, that makes it over. I think that there are people out here who want to know what the hell she was doing for 2 days, while you have the mother of Anaya Blanchard, who not only lost Anaya, but didn't she say she's lost 2 children? So you have a mother who's lost 2 children out here desperately looking for who she thinks is another mother and father who are missing a child. And just the cruelty of that alone, and other people who've probably suffered other trauma, who do this kind of as, missionary work, if you will, to help others for whatever reason they do it. Okay. And I don't know if Carlee is going to be given a bill. I don't know if Carlee, you know what I mean, if she's going to be handed an invoice and some. This is what I'm going to say. Carlee is obviously got a good lawyer. Her parents clearly have some coin and some influence or both. Okay. Um, she has she has affiliation with a university, a sorority, all kinds of things. We don't know who those people know, but apparently they were able to get in with one of the most influential criminal defense attorneys in Birmingham, Alabama. And sis has some folk on her side. Okay. So I don't know if they're going to negotiate some sort of probation or some sort of, community service slap on the wrist. She'll pay back the money owed as restitution. Who knows? I don't see this girl going to jail. She's not a criminal. I don't think what she did was a good thing by any means, but I'm not here for people dragging um a woman like this for any and I mean like literal dragging through the streets and trying to put her in jail. She's, she may be mentally impaired. She may have some kind of, situation we don't really know anything about. She could have manic episodes. We don't really know. But there's a lot of angry people out there who want to take their frustrations out on this girl. I don't think she deserves a slap on the wrist, but I don't know that she deserves to go to prison. But maybe she has some very long-term restitution to pay. She may have something like, if you get in trouble again, we're going to go ahead and file all of these charges on you. So maybe something that's going to sit somewhere. And if you fall out of line in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to revitalize this case. And then you can face whatever else you're facing. I don't know. They can be very creative with what they do for her, but somehow this woman I don't think is going to get much of anything that's going to look like a prison sentence. That's just my opinion, because I think obviously she's coming from somewhere where she's got some sort of influence. If she had an appointment with the police and her attorney sent a statement in lieu of the police, and he will be meeting with the police tomorrow on her behalf, she's not required to report to the police department at this time. So that's it and that's all. They need more information from her to develop a complete case. We know that there's a problem here, but we don't know clearly if they wanted to make an arrest, if they felt that it was arrest worthy at the time, they would be doing it. But clearly that's not the case. Let's listen to it and then we're going to stop. If you want to listen to it uninterrupted, slide the bar back. We did that already. So now we're going to listen to it and we're going to make frequent stops. If anybody, hey, YouTube pimpin', hey, boo boo. Hello, everyone. I see you, CC Monet, Dovely Creations, Verena, hey, boo boo. Oh, hey, everyone. Hello to the bushes. Anyone who might want to call in, you are welcome to do so. Let me see. Okay. All right, guys. I probably shouldn't have put that. Let's see. Where'd that go? That went to Facebook. I don't know if that went out to Twitter or not, but we're live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at this moment. Okay. India, not India. Hey, boo boo. What's going on? Hello to everyone. Okay, let's get back into it. Okay. The comments were pretty entertaining, and there's more. From when I first saw this, we were leaving the movie, and there was maybe like 3,500 comments. Now it's well over 15,000. So I'm sure the comments, we'll scroll through some more comments in a bit. Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Keith Suscaleba with the Hoover Police Department. We're here today to provide an update in the Carlee Russell investigation. Chief Nick Durzis will read a prepared statement that will provide an update in this case. After reading the statement, we will have time for a few questions related to the case. Keep in mind, this is still an ongoing investigation, and there are some questions we simply cannot answer at this point. With that, I'll turn it over to Chief Dursis.
Thank you, Captain. Yes. Good afternoon. Thanks to everyone for attending again today. I want to thank the members of our department and all of law enforcement who played a role in the investigation of this case. Last Wednesday, July 19th, we held a press conference and provided you with the facts of the Carlee Russell disappearance. We told you the investigation was ongoing. We helped you determine where Carlee was during the 49 hours of her disappearance. Today, I've talked to and received a statement from Mr. Emery Anthony, attorney for Carlee Russell. Mr. Anthony has scheduled a meeting for Carlee to meet with investigators early this afternoon, but then I received an email stating that a statement was being provided by him on her behalf. Mr. Anthony asked that I read the statement in its entirety, which I will do now. My client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13th, 2023.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm just now seeing this comment. So yesterday we didn't really know much. We knew that it's under investigation. We knew that it was questionable. We knew that it was it was hoax worthy. Stories falling apart, all the things. Now that the attorney has issued out a statement from this woman, and this is a complete fabrication, wherever she was, whatever she was doing with that we don't know about. And even the reason why could be mental illness, could be anything. Anaya Blanchard's family they do deserve an apology. There was an admission. This is a whole entire, fool's errand. They had the city and the state and everybody in the country duped as to something that was not real. Wherever she wasn't home. And whether her parents found out about it as she was walking in the door or she got a call from them, whenever that happened, no matter whenever the parents found out at a certain point, now that Carlee has admitted that this was all a lie, it's time to thank the people for what they did and apologize, because somebody picked up the phone and requested people to come help and do a search. And whoever made that phone call owes those people an apology. And Carlee Russell owes everybody an apology. But personally, if the parents called churches and synagogues and real estate organizations and sororities and fraternities and all kinds of people to show up, all of those people do deserve an apology and a thank you from them for coming out, and some sort of, even if it's, she's getting treatment, sis needs to go for some sort of psychiatric evaluation, period. She needs some help. She needs some therapy, and something's wrong with her. And before she does it again and somebody is dead or something worse kind of happens, I wouldn't trust her. I would be like, okay, if you can do this, what's next? Sis needs some treatment. Okay. She really does. Now, whatever they decide to do, if they decide to press charges on her or not, sis needs some treatment. She needs something. And I hope they get her somewhere, because anybody with half, like, I don't even say half a brain, anyone with some sense would never do such a thing. Okay. This is on some, this is on the level of somebody in the future that could blank on somebody and really hurt someone, because sis is quite impulsive in a very dangerous way. For her to have all these people looking for her, I wouldn't be clear on what her next moves are. She would need some help, because do something like this today and it's something even more tragic in the future, because this is some weird behavior, right?
3. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road.
All right,
My
anyone
client did
just
not
coming
leave
in,
the
let's
Hoover.
just get this
After
right
reading the
back
statement, we
to,
will have time for a few
I don't want to
questions.
interrupt because the statement is
Mr.
so
Anthony
good.
scheduled a meeting for Carlee to meet with investigators early this afternoon, but then I received an email stating that a statement was being provided by him on her behalf. Mr. Anthony asked that I read the statement in its entirety, which I will do now. My client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on Thursday,
No kidnapping, y'all. No kidnapping. Okay.
July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road.
There was no baby. Okay.
My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person.
Why didn't
My
they
client-
say there was no lady with Cheez-Its? There was no man. Nobody took off my clothes. Nobody took pictures of me. Nobody fed me Cheez-Its and played with my hair. All of the things. Why didn't the document say
client
that?
did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel with anyone during the time she was missing. My client apologizes for
I don't know what was the whole thing with the damn Red Roof Inn, because they said that the Russell family was mobbed up, not mobbed up, but they rolled up to the hotel 6 people deep. There's a call with them calling dispatch stating that the Russells just showed up looking for Carlee, but she's not there. So is that like just some, it can't be some elaborate hearsay. There had to be something to that as well.
her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies as well, as to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter. Carlee, again, ask for your forgiveness and prayers. We have a meeting scheduled with Mr. Anthony to further discuss this case. We're currently in discussions with the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office in Bessemer about possible criminal charges related to this case, and we will announce those charges when and if they are filed.
When and if they are filed. When and if they are filed, which means it's not certain if they're even going to file charges. Okay. So boom. Okay. Interesting, right? We don't know if they're even going to file charges. They may not. They could potentially give her some sort of something that's going to feel like something. She might wish they do file charges and let them take her to court, but they may give her something that's going to feel pretty restrictive. I don't know that they're going to let her walk, because there's a lot of people who are very angry about this.
All right, with that, we'll take a few questions as Officer Hill.
Okay, let's go back one more time.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Keith Suscaleva with the Hoover Police Department. We're here today to provide an update in the Carlee Russell investigation. Chief Nick Durzis will read a prepared statement that will provide an update in this case. After reading the statement, we will have time for a few questions related to the case. Keep in mind, this is still an ongoing investigation, and there are some questions we simply cannot answer at this point. With that, I'll turn it over to Chief Durzis.
Thank you, Captain. Yes. Good afternoon. Thanks to everyone for attending again today. I want to thank the members of our department and all of law enforcement who played a role in the investigation of this case. Last Wednesday, July 19th, we held a press conference and provided you with the facts of the Carlee Russell disappearance. We told you the investigation was ongoing. We helped you determine where Carlee was during the 49 hours of her disappearance. Today, I've talked to and received a statement from Mr. Emery Anthony, attorney for Carlee Russell. Mr. Anthony has scheduled a meeting for Carlee to meet with investigators early this afternoon, but then I received an email stating that a statement was being provided by him on her behalf. Mr. Anthony asked that I read the statement in its entirety, which I will do now. My client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel with anyone during the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies, as well as to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter. Carlee, again, ask for your forgiveness and prayers. We have a meeting scheduled with Mr. Anthony to further discuss this case. We're currently in discussions with the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office in Bessemer about possible criminal charges related to this case, and we will announce those charges when and if they are filed.
All right, with that, we'll take a few questions as
Okay, so guys, we talked about the hotel scenario yesterday a little bit. So there was a report that let me pull this up real quick. Hold on. I want to see the okay, let's take a look at this real quick. Um I want to see the Today Show interview real quick, but we're going to go over there in a second. So this is Tomar. I think he goes by Tim, but Tomar Simmons, the boyfriend. I think that's his sister. But yesterday we talked briefly about there had been a hotel that was reserved with a burner, like not a burner, but like if you go to Target and just get like a Visa gift card. So let's say like a Visa or American Express gift card. Okay. So you put like, let's say $500 on it, right? So you have $500 worth to spend. Then a burner. So a non kind of a pay here every month type phone, right? Um, she ordered not DoorDash, but she ordered food. She ordered Instacart and a hotel. Allegedly, this was up under this card and this phone and the same IP address of that phone that paid and ordered the items, that ordered the Instacart, that ordered maybe like a Uber Eats, that paid for the hotel, is also the same IP address that texted Mr. Tomar Simmons, some sort of kind of weird message regarding Carlee and maybe her being finding her scattered all over the road, like some sort of very cryptic, weird message. Anyway, this is on the Shade Room. Obviously, the sister of Carlee Russell's boyfriend accused her of fabricating the story of her disappearance and says that she could turn her emotions into action, but instead she'll let God work. Okay. Sis says, man, here y'all go, since y'all literally waiting on me to speak out on the situation and give my thoughts on it. I just can't believe she fabricated this whole story. Carlee had my family and I believing her staged play. I had Tomar and I defending her to the utmost, having me cussed out all these people, having me cussed out all these people out, which I don't regret. Y'all shouldn't speak on things you don't know about. My emotions are high. I really could turn my emotions into actions. I mean, I could really headbutt her. LOL. No, seriously, do everything under the sun for what she has done, especially my brother. But I won't do that. I'm going to let God work. I don't know what he's going to do with her and her family, but I know he's turning it around into something positive, into a positive light for mine. And that is only because we honor him daily. This whole situation is stupid as hell, but at the end of the day, she's the one embarrassed. 100. Everyone is literally on her neck for lying the way she did. They both righteous. They both righteous nationwide right now. I just really pray for her and her family to just tell the truth about everything and pray for Carlee's mind, because God gonna deal with them. Just like everyone that personally knows Carlee and everyone who genuinely cared about her well-being from the jump. We really thought she was missing, and everyone else on my timeline. Wait. and everyone else on my timeline. We clueless as well. But my heart goes out to my brother, Tomar Latrell Simmons. I don't like to see my family go through anything they don't have to go through, but he gonna be good and we good regardless. I'm proud of him. He did his part being a real man and going out searching hard for his girlfriend like any concerned boyfriend would do. But like I said, God is turning this situation around for our good. He's the only one allowed this to play out the way it did. I just want to thank everyone who reached out to me/us concerned about how Tomar is feeling. He is going to be okay, way better than he was before she fumbled. Okay? She fumbled. Wow. Okay. That's embarrassing. That's even more embarrassing, girl. Your whole damn. And Schuler King is over here talking about take a seat. Okay. Do you guys watch Schuler King? I love him. Okay. Um, Carlee Russell's boyfriend wants those making light of the ongoing investigation and the kidnapping of alleged to consider her mental health. Nobody deserves to be cyberbullied. He's maintaining himself as a nice guy all the way. And at the end of the day, good. That's gonna be good for him. Um, we're not even gonna talk about that right now. Let's see. Where else? I think there was some other. Let's see. Okay, I think that was it. Is that it? No, here. Um, I think we talked about this briefly last night too. Carlee was liking people's posts, and I think I don't want to say she I think she took back some of her likes. Because I think she realized, uh-oh, the shade room reposted me liking. Carlee, I ain't mad at you. As messed up as it sounds, you had to do what you needed to do for your self-preservation. The Bible says, you without sin shall cast the first stone. May the Lord be with you and all the families deeply affected by this situation. And sis liked her comment. Now, that's this person's opinion. Carlee liked it and Shade Room reposted it. Sis, stay offline for a minute because you're going to look real stupid no matter what you're doing out here. Okay, let me find the Today Show and we might go ahead and wrap this up and then we'll get into some more stuff as the things are happening because this is still an ongoing investigation. I would personally love to know what she was doing over those 48 hours. I don't know that we're going to find out. I hope that we do. I mean, no lie. I mean, I really do. NBC, Carlee Russell's parent interview. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can. Okay. Hold. Is this the beginning of it though? Let's see. Okay, I don't think that that's the complete interview. Just a second. Um, it's like it starts out like not fully at the like, hi, we're sitting down with so and so. But I guess let's take what we can get. Uh, okay. So we're going back in time and we're going to hear what the parents were saying. Carlee Russell's disappearance. Um, they just always say Carlee Russell's parents, but I think her mother is it Talitha? I thought it was Tabitha, but it's Talitha. Um, I don't know what her dad's name is, but I'm sure it's out here somewhere. Um, Anywho, all right, let's pivot right here. I'm sure most of you have seen this. I'm going to be on, I've seen it, but I hadn't watched the whole thing. I'm telling you, I was avoiding this story last week because it was just too much.
Like, to me, I mean, just so much joy.
This morning, in an exclusive sit down with NBC News, the parents of 25-year-old Carlee Russell are speaking out, describing the moment their daughter appeared on their doorstep after being missing
Hey,
for more
Verena,
than
boo
48
boo.
hours.
What did
Verena said hello to everyone that spoke to her and everyone who did not. Hello. I added that part in. Guys, good evening. I know I didn't speak to everyone. Good evening, everyone. And thank you, everyone, for coming through. Thank you, sis, for reminding me when I saw that comment. I was like, you know what? Let me take a minute and say hello to all of our guests. And if you know someone if you don't know someone, everyone say hi to someone. And let's get this thing social. This is very deep, isn't it, Verena? It's awful, right? Hey, Doris. Hey, Carol. Hey, CB. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you to everyone joining us. Self-preservation. You know what, Ashley? The self-preservation comment, was she under attack? Girl, she might say she was under spiritual warfare. Okay, sis? We don't know. In someone's mind who is delusional, and again, just remember, it's not a pass, it's a reason. None of us can give her a pass, right? Um, at the end of the day, it's just a reason for us to be able to kind of like, oh, okay, that explains it. Sis is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Sis missed her medicine. Sis is undiagnosed. Sis had a severe manic episode. Maybe she's got borderline personality disorder. Maybe she's just a pathological liar. Who knows? I think that the world would appreciate an answer. It's unfortunate that sometimes in life we have to just kind of like accept there are things that we just won't ever know. I don't know if this is going to be one of them. I'm hoping that we get some sort of answer because the world is very interested in this girl's story. I don't know if she's going to have an opportunity to, I mean, I'm sure somebody is even asking her about her story right now. She might even have an opportunity to sell this story. I mean, we know how this world is, right? So she may want to keep those juicy details to herself. We don't know what sis was doing. I'm still trying to figure out, was that whole thing at the damn Red Roof Inn accurate? Like, it's crazy, right? Um, hey Vicky, hey Boo Boo. What's going on, all of you? Thank you so much. Hey Bama girl. Bama girl. This is like in your I don't know if you're in that general vicinity, but I'm sure this has been crazy, right? Um Sis, if you have a second, you want to tell us what it's been like, because I don't know if you're in that general area. We know you're in Alabama. But if if you'd like to give us a word from the curb as to what this is like. But I think there's just a lot of angry people. Let's listen and see. Okay, I'm gonna drop the link for you, Boo Boo. And let's listen to this NBC report. I'll drop the link. That way you can go get you some water and then call in and let us know what is the deal, sis. Okay. Let me just a moment. Okay, there you go. Did I say, girl, can I get this right? Oof, I sent it on the wrong thing. Okay. All right, Bama girl. Okay, boo boo. Hey, Tennessee. Hey, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening. All right, let's run this. We're going to listen to this is what was on the Today Show. Many of you probably saw this. We're just going to run this back. And then we can go back over to Facebook and listen to the Hoover Police Department again if you want to. I would actually like to go over to Twitter and see if I can find that 911 call when they called to say that there was someone who showed up to the damn Red Roof Inn, that the Russell family showed up to the Red Roof Inn and were trying to find Carlee. Okay, hold on. Let's listen to this.
What was it like? To me, I mean, just so much joy. And
This morning, in an exclusive sit-down with NBC News, the parents of 25-year-old Carlee Russell are speaking out, describing the moment their daughter appeared on their doorstep after being missing for more than 48 hours. What did you do when you saw her?
We tried to hug her as best we could, but I had to stand back because she was not in a good state. So we had to stand back and let medical professionals work with her. But it's
Last Thursday, police say Carlee called 911 to report a toddler walking alone on the interstate. She pulled over while on the phone with a family member who described hearing Carlee scream.
Her vehicle's unlocked, running. All her personal belongings except for her phone.
On the scene, police found no sign of Carlee or a child, and they say no children were reported as missing during that time period. The Russells waited in agony until Saturday night.
there were actually just so many calls and texts from people who maliciously lied to us. I just didn't know people could be so evil.
Authorities have not indicated where Carlee was during the 48 hours she was missing or what happened. Her parents declined to share what their daughter told them, citing the ongoing investigation.
And can you tell me what happened Saturday night? Did you just get a knock at the door?
Anything leading to the case itself, we can't discuss that.
But they say speculation about the circumstances surrounding Carlee's disappearance are only making things worse.
She's having to deal with the trauma of people just making completely false allegations about her.
Her family now urging the public to let the investigation play out, but mentioning an abductor. Her mother asking to read a brief message to the public.
Carlee has given detectives her statement so that they can continue to pursue her abductor.
Do you believe that there's an abductor still out there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
NBC News has reached out to the Hoover Police Department to ask whether they're looking for an individual involved. Police have just said they're following up on all information provided by Carlee.
And when I talked to you all on Saturday, you also said your daughter is a fighter and she would find a way back to you.
I felt that in my heart.
Is that what happened?
She did. She found her way back to us. However, we can't discuss the details of that.
But they say one thing is clear.
Do you believe she was fighting for her life?
Oh, she definitely fought for her life. There were moments when she physically had to fight for her life, and there were moments when she had to mentally fight for her life.
But she made it back to you.
She made it back.
Yeah, she did make it back. All right, Priscilla, so investigators are obviously busy on this case. What are they looking into going forward?
Yeah, Hoda, right now they're analyzing that initial 911 call and also that traffic cam video showing that car driving on the interstate very slowly with its flashers on, believed to be Carlee's car. And of course, they're looking at the evidence from the crime scene, including the car and her cell phone, which was found on the roadway nearby. Police say that they have been able to account for all of her steps leading up to her disappearance, but those 48 hours when she was gone still remain a mystery. Hoda?
Yeah, leaving behind her phone, her pocketbook, and all those things, a lot of things that investigators are looking into. Priscilla, thank you.
This Hawaiian style.
Okay. I mean, I think for a lot of people, especially women, it's kind of like, okay, the purse, the wig, the watch, personal items. It was I mean, I don't want to say it was there was just certain things that made it scary and made it like something had to have happened, cuz who would do such a thing, right? Whatever. I guess she's going to have to, you know what? The police might say she's got herself a good lawyer and everything, but at the end of the day, the police might just be like, "You know what? All of that being said, we appreciate the apology, all of that, but if you want us to take this deal or offer you a deal, it might just boil down to you got to tell us everything. You got to walk us through the whole entire thing, and that's it." So, I don't really know. Okay. Let's see. Hey sis, you're in the car. Hey. Hey, are you close to the Birmingham area? You own.
Yes.
Okay. Um, so do you know anything? Had you heard anything about the Red Roof Inn?
Yeah. So the whole situation with the Red Roof Inn, I'm first of all trying to still figure how that even surfaced in this situation.
I don't know.
Um,
Do you think that was kind of some sort of hearsay moment, something about someone else that kind of got attached to this story? Does that have nothing to do with anything of this story and it just has to do with something else?
I think it's one of those situations where the parents knew what was going on, and that's why they showed up at that Red Roof Inn. Um, there were some nursing students. 'Cause I work at the Birmingham VA, so
Okay.
UAB and the nursing school, those nurses work as residents in our facility. So
Okay.
today, the conversation was, you know, did this actually happen? Um, Evidently, this young girl was flunking out of nursing school.
Mm.
And the word on the curb is that she was dealing with situations with the boyfriend and I guess wanted sympathy. And when this situation caught off the way that it did, it just literally blew up over her head. And I think the parents were in it all along. They knew that she was not necessarily missing
Maybe
because
they knew she took
in
off. They
yeah, because
she
in
she
Hoover, the area that she supposedly disappeared in, there are a
Mhm.
lot of wooded areas that lead to the backs of homes. So I think she initially planned this whole, disappearance thing, but I don't think that it was where she had planned for it to go as national as it did.
Okay.
That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
like she thought maybe nobody, you know what I mean? You know how some people feel like, not to say they don't feel like they're important, but maybe people don't think that people are going to turn out in that way, or that they were actually going to call the FBI, and that the FBI was actually going to call the Secret Service, and that it was actually going to be like national news. She may not have thought, maybe she didn't, like, I don't, you know what I mean? People
She
need to stop
didn't.
believing that people don't turn up for people who are missing. I mean, I know that there are situations where that happens, but in this case, it didn't happen that way. People actually turned up, turned out, all of those things.
Right.
So I don't, not that that would make it less horrible what she did. Because even if you waste one person's time on a hoax, it's far too much. Um, but yeah, she probably didn't think that people were going to come out the way they did.
Well, one of the mistakes that she made, number one, the area that she disappeared in. We have the FBI is not that far from where that location is. They work in conjunction with the Secret Service. Anytime there's an Amber Alert, that's part of the state's protocol. And to be honest with you, the parents are from an affluent community,
Yeah.
right there in Hoover. And it just makes sense that that's how, this thing kind of blew up the way that it did. And, this young lady clearly has some issues. I mean, they have been talking about it all day. I was over at the hospital today, and I tell you, the number of media trying to get statements and, trying to find out about her background, because she was taking the UAB, when they checked her out. And plus, she was going to school at the UAB nursing school right there. And I just think she's one of those kind of self-entitled young people that, thought this was going to be a joke, because this stuff seemed to be like literally pre-planned. I mean, the press conference today was basically, I think, the culmination of them getting ready to bring some serious charges against her, or they're going to stick the family with a large bill for the number of resources that went in to search for her because
Yeah.
clearly the story that she made up. I've driven 459, and I will tell you right now, you're not gonna find no toddler. I will be frankly honest. I kind of blame the 911 operator for letting it go as far as she did
Mm-hmm.
because there's just certain things that just don't add up with the story. Number one, to see a toddler in the middle of a large intersection such as 459, you've got cars, 18 wheelers and stuff like that. You're not going to see a kid there. And for her to have dramatically made the screaming and supposedly she's on the phone with someone else, they could have easily tracked her location. And I mean, they did because the police department did show up there. But it shouldn't have gotten as far as it did. It just seems to me that from the get go, it was totally staged. And what should have taken place was instead of reacting the way that they did, there should have been someone that just kind of said, okay, this don't even sound right. We need to
Right.
look into this further.
Well, but initially what they knew was, yeah, I mean, what was said was kind of like damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because if they
Right.
didn't act on it, and it was someone who was a potential trafficking victim, who maybe they're using a baby as bait, because things like that do happen. Um, where they may use someone as bait to get someone's attention. How many times do we see kids being lured by, is that your bike up the street? Or your mom told me to come pick you up? Or there's
Yeah,
just
but
weird stuff. And I get it. I was kind of surprised that the 911 person was so nonchalant in the phone call. When she called
yeah.
911 and it wasn't like, okay, what does the baby look? Well, she did ask for a description. That's okay.
Mhm.
But also was like, oh, okay, well, okay, I'll just wait. Bye. Um, you would think if it's involving a child on the side of the road, you don't know what kind of condition the child's in. It could be a possible abduction. It could be like, oh, maybe this girl's getting lured to be sex trafficked. You stay on the phone and don't hang up. But they were like, okay, we'll have the police over there in 3 minutes or whatever she said. And it was like, okay, all right, see you later, bye. It wasn't like one of those, if you called for emergency fire, or, well, she called for emergency, but if you called for like fire or medic, they're not going to let you get off the phone. They're going to say, no, please hold on,
Mhm.
stay with me
Mhm.
until authorities arrive, right? They didn't do that on this call. It was like, oh, okay, you see a baby, you're traveling up the road, okay. Okay, he's in a baby bodysuit. Okay, no, he's in a diaper. Okay, okay, we'll have someone there. Okay, just stay right there. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, I would have. That's why I say it went too far because the story is just too far fetched. Number one, I don't even think the 911 operator even understood where she was because that stretch of highway in Hoover is heavily, you're not going to find a kid, and there would have been, if it was a situation where it would have been like the child being abandoned, I would have said it's in a car seat. That would have been more believable.
Yeah.
That somebody left a baby or a toddler in a car seat on the side of the road. But then again, at the same time, how are you going to have the abduction? If there's not a car centrally located in the area and you're finding a child there's no
But
abduction.
it's not about the abduction of the child. It's about allegedly, like, I guess, a lure of her, or
But it
some
didn't
baby,
make any sense though.
some kid went off wandering. But where would a kid go? I mean, there are kids that go wandering sometimes.
Mhm.
They just walk out the front door, but they're not going to be on the highway, probably at
Exactly.
least a mile and through the woods from the closest housing development, because that's happened where kids have just like, they learn how to open the door and they walk out. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. Um,
But
so yeah, it's
on
weird.
this stretch,
Oh
I just
yeah.
think I just think
Well,
that
we saw that we've already debunked that because we know now. You saw
Mhm.
the Hoover Police Department. Like there was like it's not even worth talking about any. Like I wouldn't say it's not worth talking about, but at the end of the day, we know it's not true.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
was the gentleman who wears the suits like he's going to the Augusta Masters.
Mhm.
Um, he said from her attorney, there was no baby, there was no abduction, I was not kidnapped, all of these things, it's a no. So
Yeah.
um the fact of the training of the 911 officer or the 911 dispatcher, I mean, this is something that maybe they need to slice and dice this call to see how they could have better diagnosed the situation. And
Mhm.
maybe and I saw someone saying that yeah, she may have disconnected the call. I heard the 911 call. I think we listened to it yesterday.
Mhm.
Or I've listened to it several times. The woman never said hold on. So I don't
No.
know if she, it was one of those like just okay, we're done here. It wasn't that she said goodbye or thank you for calling or we'll have like however it was ended. If I can find it before we hang up, we will. Or next time, maybe we'll do this again tomorrow. We'll listen to the 911 calls. Um, and I don't know if I'm on a Twitter page that I think has some of them. Let me pull this up and see what this is. I think one of the two of these might be the Red Roof Inn.
Mhm.
So what do you know? Do you know anything about the Red Roof? That the talk about the Red Roof is that what do you know about that
So
if anything at all?
so the Red Roof Inn is it's not that far from the location right off of 459. And
Mhm.
the only thing that I could think of is that, like I said, somebody picked that girl up. She didn't just wander back through a subdivision and get to her house. There
They
would have
said that
been,
there was a gray car that had pulled up at some point. Not, I don't know if it was gray or not, but there was some vehicle that slowed down off the side of the road at some point before
Mhm.
the police arrived. So we don't know if that was her ride or she actually really went down into the woods or what, because there was another person on Twitter who had some footage walking down into the woods, walking on the drainage path
Mhm.
down into the culverts and where you can actually go under the highway where the water drains.
Mhm.
And it would be easy enough for her if she was aware that that was back there to access
But
or
see,
take those culverts back to a neighborhood where there's fences or take it even further down to exit 10.
the problem with that story is we had just had heavy storms that came through
Mhm.
the area. So
Oh, so it
those
could have been flooded
culverts
down there.
would have been flooded
Okay.
um, all throughout that area. So that particular part of her story would have been
That wouldn't have
debunked
happened.
immediately.
Yeah, she would have
Right.
drowned down there. That would have
Yeah.
been too much. Let's
Yeah.
listen to this really quick. Let's see what this is. Okay. This guy, Ikid Mel, he does have a YouTube channel. This is on his Twitter. Let's
At
listen
this
to this real
location
quick.
saying they received
Wait, hold on.
754 unclassified complaint 1466 Montgomery Highway at the Red Roof Inn. The front office per caller. Family members at this location saying they received a call from the female that's missing, Carlee Russell. 754 unclassified.
Okay, let's listen to this one. That one's only 18
complaint 14
seconds. Let's go to this one. Oops.
754. Per
Okay.
caller. Family members at this location saying they received a call from the female that's missing, Carlee Russell.
Red Roof Inn. It's kind of hard to rewind it because the tracker's so.
754 unclassified complaint. 754.
So this is some dispatch audio in the Hoover area.
754 unclassified complaint 1466 Montgomery Highway at the Red Roof Inn. The front office per caller. Family members at this location saying they received a call from the female that's missing, Carlee Russell. 754. Family members are saying they received a call from the female saying she was at this location.
So a little backstory. They said so a clerk from the Red Roof called 911. 6 cars pulled up saying they were family members of Carlee Russell. They said they got a phone call. She was there. And the lady at the front desk calls 911. And this is some of the dispatch audio, like the behind the scenes audio when they're calling to, I guess, notify like a squad car to come check and see what's going on. Let's listen to the rest of it. It's only 3 minutes.
1054 en route.
So I'm clipping this.
760, 1851.
Clipping this also for Twitter because they're going crazy over there. So I want to get the whole thing.
Be advised, the child's now in the area of 3582 currently. The red roof.
52, 1852.
Did they talk about the 6 cars for people yet?
26 is responding units. I just spoke with the front desk clerk. They said that the family is not being hostile or anything like that, but that there was about 6 carloads of people that have just shown up over there.
So they said, so the dispatcher called back to the Red Roof. They said the family's not being hostile or anything, but there's 6 carloads of family members that came looking for her. So I'm wondering, I mean, that alone implicates them in knowing that that there was something prior to her getting to the house on Saturday night, because why would you guys have gone to the Red Roof? But why would you guys have not called the police to escort you to the Red Roof? And I mean, I guess I get it. If your kid is missing and you're like, oh my God, you're where? Okay, we're running. But why wouldn't you call the police? Because when you engage the police and there's an investigation, you kind of need to keep them in the loop. Even if when you got there, hey, Carlee called us, we jumped in the car, now we're here. Can you please come help us? Da 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 da. She says she's here. We don't know.
Well, the parents did that, I think, to try to, if she was there, and I'm not saying she was or she wasn't there, but I think she was there. And I think that was basically a ruse to try to keep the police at bay because they knew that she hadn't been abducted and that they had to figure out a way to get their story straight. Because ultimately they were going to be held responsible once she so-called miraculously appeared. And I think that was the plan all along, was to basically detract from the police. Oh, we thought she was here. You know, we checked room. She's not here. But all the evidence that they basically have points to she was staying in that hotel.
Yeah, so she was there. So you think that they were trying to
I think they got her from that hotel. That's why they went in the number of cars that they did, so that they could basically sneak her in one of the cars and basically get her to someone's house and then let her miraculously appear the next day, disheveled and everything.
So you think that's what they did?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I mean, girl, I've been exposed to stuff, but my God, nothing like this. I just cannot imagine that these people have time to engage in some foolishness like this. And if they knew, like, I thought that maybe but is your impression that they knew all along, or they
I think she's
became
done this
aware?
before. I think she's done this
That
before.
she's like a runaway
Yeah,
type.
I think she's
She's been
done
a
these.
problem. She's
Yeah,
been
I
a
think she's
problem.
done these stunts before, but never to the level that it involved law
Jesus.
enforcement. And I think
So,
this was a way to find her before law enforcement did, because where that Red Roof Inn is, that's in a very
well,
you
we
don't
know
go to.
Red
Yeah,
Roof is not, it's not the Ritz, okay?
no,
It's not
no,
even a Hampton Inn. It's
no, and it's in the
near,
hood. It's in the hood in
yeah.
Hoover.
No
So you're
offense to the
talking
Red
about
Roof, but it's
no,
not where it's people don't go vacation there. People usually
no.
go for like hourly rates, or you're down on your luck
Exactly.
type
Well, it's a
spot.
prostitution. It's a
Okay.
prostitution
Oh,
type
tell us.
situation. You
Okay.
know.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
It's known for that type of, situation and shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I think that was the cover, to basically get her to be disheveled because they hired this lawyer very quickly.
I mean, Sir's portrait on the website, Sir is suited and booted.
Yes.
He's of the suited, booted. He looks like he's got on the Steve Harvey collection, Ferragamo
Hmm.
shoes, good belt, and drives a very fancy car.
Absolutely. He's well known in Hoover.
Yes.
He's well
Okay.
known in Hoover.
Okay.
So the family was not stupid. And like I said, I think this young girl bolted at the pressure of being cheated on and obviously in this relationship with his boyfriend, flunking out of nursing school because basically some of the nursing students that we ran into today at lunch when we went to Chick-fil-A, they all knew her. They all
Oh
knew her.
yeah.
And it is not, when this story first broke, obviously everybody was concerned, for her because a lot of the students, obviously were in her classes and they knew her on campus and things of that nature. But the point to where this thing went left, I think the parents are culpable, because if your child comes home, why are you leaving your child at home to go do interviews? If she was assaulted and abducted by someone who is still out there as they quote unquote stated, um you would be at home, you would be
Did they go to New York? Please don't
um
tell me they went to New York.
I believe in one of the actual interviews, I think it was done at a family member's home. They weren't in New York. The reporter
Okay.
came down, as a part of the whole story because it was basically a nationwide, type event. So they
Right.
didn't do the interviews, at their home. They did it, at a family friend's home. And
Okay, but
that's the
taking time
interview.
away from the
Right.
investigation. I mean, I
Exactly.
don't think that that's out of the ordinary, especially with national news stories. That does happen because, if she's been trafficked that or, whatever, that's standard. But when did you know? When did you know? Did you know
Yeah.
before you sat with the Today Show? Like when that's what I would want to know about the parents. When did you continue with the charade? Like when were you no longer worried and now you were, because you know how they say it's not the crime, it's the cover up. When
Hmm.
did you get involved in the cover up? Because me, I would have no parts in it. Sis wants to act a fool. Sis, we're not covering up for you. That's just not happening. So
Absolutely.
immediately when I become aware, yeah, it's over. We're calling, she's home. Oh, we got a phone call. This is where she is. That's where we think she is. And we would like, what? Because now
Yeah.
the people want the parents, and the parents may just were trying to take care of their daughter, but now they look suspect because why didn't you clue in everyone to let us know what's going on? So you
Absolutely.
think when they showed up at the red roof, well, they would have known because that's how they got to the red roof. But you
Yeah.
think prior to that the red roof call was staged?
Yeah. It was, I do believe it was staged. I believe they knew where she was because I believe this is something that she has done before, but
So
it's
why
never
get
been.
Ayanna Blanchard's family involved? Is mom nuts too?
No.
Like,
So
is there some
the
mental
way,
illness running through the entire family?
so I'm thinking she reached out to her to quote unquote, uh, form some sort of solidarity because her daughter was missing down in Auburn when she was
Mhm.
abducted, and they obviously wanted to try to get as much of the community involved to take away from knowing that this was a whole ruse and that their daughter was not missing. I believe they knew all along. Now, I don't know anything about this family other than the fact that they are affluent in the Hoover community. I know the father is, but it just to me spells something where they were trying to protect their daughter and they were also trying to, create themselves as victims. It's almost
I
like
just
Munchausen
don't.
by proxy.
Okay, but what about when do you let the police know our daughter has run away before and she has a history of blah, 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 so that when the police are doing the press conference, they can say Carlee appears to be missing, but this woman has had a history of disappearances and running away, but
Hmm.
this is out of the normal kind of scope of what she's done in the past, which leads us to be more concerned. Like there are you know how when Sheree Whitfield's mother went missing, they said,
Right.
and she has dementia. She has
Hmm.
severe dementia.
Hmm.
So, and it's been several days since she's had her medication. So we're quite concerned. It's not like, oh, Sheree Whitfield's mother went missing. And she's got dementia. So clearly there's some issues there. This isn't a
Hmm.
normal, just kind of, she's gone for a couple of days. She went on a girls' trip with some of her other senior gal pals. Sis has dementia. There's nothing planned. She wandered off. We're concerned.
Right.
Or so and so has severe schizophrenia. Da 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 da. If they knew that sis has an issue, then why not tell people that this is what she'd done before? Maybe they weren't sure if she was
I think
gone. Like
it's
this one was
I
so
think it's the
elaborate. They
image.
just
It's an image thing. Here in
well,
Birmingham and
they never had
Hoover.
to call the police though. Like when the police came, they could have been like, "Oh, she's home. She's down the street around the corner." Cancel the call before you start getting Alana Blanchard's people and
Hmm.
they're calling in the FBI. When was it time to say, I think she's over to the hotel with her 17-year-old boyfriend?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think they wanted to reveal part. They wanted the sympathy. They wanted the
Then
true sympathy
something's wrong with
for
all of
her.
them because it's a whole mess. That's a mess for
Yeah,
real.
because remember, she got caught stealing from the job, and the place where
Girl, a
she
hundred
works.
dollars is not worth getting the Secret Service involved. That's not
Well,
even worth that.
word on the curb is it's more than $100. That's just
My
what she
God.
had on her.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's just what she had on her.
I
So
would beat her ass. That Mercedes would be
yeah,
back to the dealership. It would be gone. Sis would be going back to nursing school in like I would be calling some Caribbean country where I could get her in and you're gone. You're out of here. Next week, well, if she's facing charges, she can't go anywhere, but sis would be back she would be in school and be finishing up some nursing somewhere. But if she gets a felony, she's done with nursing, so she may as well not even bother.
yeah.
If she ends up even like a low grade felony with no jail time or some sort of probation, depending on how they structure it. If she doesn't get a felony, she could still be a nurse, but depending on her misdemeanors, how it's structured, she could have a very hard time getting a job as a nurse, much less even obtaining a license. But it's possible depending on how it's structured. Um, but it's gonna be sketchy. But I was thinking the other day, like even Monica Lewinsky's had a career. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, um, people can recover from these type of situations depending
Yeah.
on how it goes. If they don't throw the book at her, but they make her pay restitution and pay back all of the resources expended and
Oh
give
yeah.
her a big bill that she's going to have to work very hard to recoup all of this money and basically be taxed for like the next 10 to 20 years. It's not going to be good for her financially. It's going to be a hardship. Um as an
Well, I think
individual.
she's gonna have some jail time because our governor, you know, she's one of those old schools. She's like the Good Old Boy Network in Alabama. She don't play that. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I can tell you more than likely the Birmingham prosecutor, they are developing charges on her. If they can't find any state charges, they will go federal because they did expend federal resources in
Yeah.
order to search for her. So
Hmm.
therefore it can fall under the federal jurisdiction, which they can get her, for basically lying about, faking a kidnapping.
Yeah.
Remember that one case where the lady basically staged her own death or something like that, and she went on trial? They're going
I
to end up
mean,
cooking her in the same respect, unless the family ends up trying to get her committed at Bryce, which is a mental institution in Tuscaloosa.
but
And
she
I think
needs
they'll
it.
go
She
that
might
route.
need that. Like, all
Oh,
jokes
absolutely.
aside, sis needs some services because
Absolutely.
at 25, no offense out here, 25, 26 years old, she should be done with nursing school. I don't so she
Yeah.
did go to college. So let me take
Hmm.
that back. She went to 4-year college. She was going to nursing school. So she could have been getting a BSN, or she could have just been getting her RN on top of already having her bachelor's. Okay. So 20,
Hmm.
that would explain um 26 and in nursing
Yep.
school, because there's people that go to nursing school right out of high school and are a nurse at 21. But she did get
Yeah.
her degree first.
Hmm.
um I don't know, like, if she had done this previously, it's like, why didn't I don't know, why wouldn't they have just reported it before it went this far? And then, like you said, maybe they didn't know it was going to get this far. But when you have the mother of a murdered offspring showing at your
Hmm.
house, which there's a group here called Mothers of Murdered Offspring,
Hmm.
which is led by Sharika Adams' mother,
Yep.
the woman who lost her life dealing with Ray Carew.
Right, Carew. Hmm.
She is, she will show up on the scene for situations like this as well.
Hmm.
And when you had the mother show up, that's like, and if she knew possibly in the back of her mind her daughter was with the shits like this,
Hmm.
that's when you're like, look, she's got mental problems. We don't know where she
Yeah.
is. She takes off from time to time. And then the minute that she called or told you that she was okay, and you realize she was on the foolishness again, that's when you immediately call, because mom and dad about to lose their jobs.
Oh yeah.
If
Almost
they work for
definitely.
people, they might be entrepreneurs, but you might lose business, you might lose contracts, you're going to lose your
Hmm.
reputation. The people in the neighborhood going to be looking at you funny. Like, it's not, they're like our age. They're too old. I
Yeah.
don't have the bandwidth for no bullshit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, after
Absolutely.
you've worked a lifetime and you're in your 40s and your 50s, nobody has time for that type of shit. If your daughter wants to act a fool, let her act a fool, not at your address.
Absolutely. And like I said,
You got people from
I believe she
YouTube
has a
driving past the
history.
house.
Yeah, I believe she has a history of
Mm.
these type of episodes because to
She
me
mm-mm.
it was too orchestrated. She was too
Sis would have to
calm.
go. She can't
Yeah,
stay.
she was
She
too
can't stay.
calm on the 911 call, you know.
Mm-mm.
And clearly this was something that she was not smart enough to realize that everything that she did would be traced,
So,
including searches and things of that nature.
girl, her whole Google account, her whole Google life. Let me ask you this. Have you heard the text messages um between her and the Scripple,
Yeah.
her boyfriend? Girl, I'm
Hmm.
trying to find them. Her and the stripper were going back and forth. Tim's girlfriend, Tim's boo, whatever, whoever he was booed up with.
Yeah.
Um, my God. She tried to lay that girl's soul to rest, but
Hmm.
meanwhile, look what she's out here doing, acting a fool. She was like, "I'm rich. You're a stripper. You're this." I mean,
Yeah.
sis was on a high horse. If I could find those messages, we will read them. We will do a reading of those. I've got to find them because
Somebody
it's egregious.
somebody on YouTube has those. And I know I think it was the Ricky Smiley morning show this morning when
Oh,
I was going to work. Um, I don't know if it was Gary with the T. had mentioned something about it, because it
Girl,
was kind of saucy. And Ricky
it
Smiley
was.
is from
Ugh.
he lives in this area as well. He has a condo here. So he's familiar, with I believe the family, if not, other people that know the family. But yeah, she has just caused like things to just be in such uproar. And the sad part about it is now I think as a black woman, the next time a situation like this, the police are going to be less reactive until they can further investigate that there is actually a missing person.
Hmm. I just don't buy
Because
into that. If they do that and there's some negligence and someone ends up dying, we can't use the Carlee Russell excuse. It's going to be this municipality is going to be held responsible for dragging their feet by the nefarious acts of a crazy 25-year-old in Alabama. That has shit nothing to do with me. If I'm in a
Mhm.
situation like that and I find out that that would be the reason that you guys drug your feet, that would be a problem. That would be a very
Yeah.
expensive problem. So
Mhm.
I don't really buy that. I don't think that that's a good enough excuse. I would hope that the police kind of squash that that's the attitude, because we all pay taxes, most of us,
Mhm.
and I, the acts of one family does not determine the future service of others. I just will really, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't want to co-sign that, because that should not be the reason. If you just
Yeah,
want to
but
drag your feet because they're black, then just say the real reason. Don't say it because of Carlee. Because
oh
let's
no,
just say
they
you
they
were going to
won't
drag
come
them
out. They
anyway.
won't
You're
come
going to
out
drag
and
them
they
anyway.
won't come out and say that. But I
But
can guarantee
but
you there will be
I'm just
some.
saying, don't use that for the reason, because that if that's what you were going to do anyway, let's not use Carlee for a reason. You're going to do that anyway, because that's not a good reason. That there's no
Mhm.
reason, there's no substance to that reason. That's my point. There's no
Well,
substantive reasoning with that reason.
a good portion of the Hoover Police Department are black. I would
Okay.
probably say it's a 60-40. It's sixty
Okay.
forty in terms of officer ratio, to
Hmm.
white officers. So,
Hmm.
this whole event has really set back, law enforcement, because law enforcement is going to be a little bit more skeptical when things like this happen. I mean, that's, I hate to say it, it's the
Well,
South.
as they should, and I think it's training. Use
Hmm.
your training to better vet situations, but don't make other people future victims, because then she will be further victimizing the community. You cannot take one person's bad act to make
Hmm.
everyone bad actors. That's not fair.
Right.
Um that's kind of that would be grounds for, okay, well, do we need to get a whole new force? If that's how you feel, then you can't protect my community. You just
Hmm.
can't.
Well, see, this is also coming off the
If I
off
were
another
her,
case.
if I heard law enforcement make a statement like that, I promise you I would do everything I could to make sure that particular group is dismantled. There's no way that you're going to sit and collect a paycheck and have a job and basically say you're going to slow drag because somebody you got fooled.
Yeah,
Do some training and let's not get fooled again. It's not their fault that this woman
absolutely.
hoaxed, but you need
Hmm.
to be further trained on the trickery that exists now in 2023. But if something else happens, you guys got to be on the spot just like everybody else. That's not serving the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I
I think
mean,
that type of dialogue is absolutely insane.
yeah, but
Do you
unfortunately,
imagine if something happened to you and they're
hmm
waiting because they need to fully vet it out because, well, Carlee Russell, that's not a good reason.
hmm
That's not a good reason at all.
I think it's the way that it was handled, and until we actually see if there's going to be any charges, and I think they're going to use her as an example. So she will get some charges. She will not
That's
get off
that's her
on
fault.
this. with a slap on the wrist. She is going to do some time. Um, how much time? That will be up to, the Hoover district attorney. But I can guarantee you she is going to do some time. And I think that is why the family probably rushed over there, because when they realized the can of worms that this whole situation exploded into, it was more
Yes.
about trying to save their daughter from a lengthy prison sentence, more so
Yeah.
than, trying to inform the police, because they could have put a stop to it. The minute that they knew she was at that Red Roof
The
Inn,
minute that
they,
they
they
realized
could have
is when they
called it
should have.
off.
But when the dispatchers were making phone calls, why didn't someone immediately come to their house and say, "Hey, you guys were just at the Red Roof? What's going on? What did you hear?" Like, why was there no additional like, I don't know what happened, because when you listen to the timeline, they never mention anything about the Red Roof Inn. Did that series of calls, because it was logged into dispatch. I wonder, like, was that not did that not get registered or something? Did it not get to the police quick enough for them to know that they actually had gone over to the Red Roof, and that she was possibly there? Or
Well,
I just what
no one was monitoring her residence. So typically, because Hoover is sitting in Jefferson County. So you have the Hoover Police Department, and then you have the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. And normally, the larger jurisdiction takes over the investigation. So Hoover Police Department and their dispatchers are just like the receiver of the information. So it has to get to Jefferson County and their dispatchers, and then it goes to the officers within Jefferson. And given the fact that probably the FBI took the lead as the federal agency, because they were deeming this as a possible abduction, the feds probably had the lead in terms of investigating. So no one was there at their home to basically, kind of set up some sort of operation, hoping that maybe she'll call again or make some contact with the family. They were just, it was kind of over their head. It's not like,
Okay.
other than the situation that happened with the little girl that was discovered deceased, there were, even in that situation, there were a lot of mistakes and a lot of cues that were missed, because things get mishandled due to jurisdiction. And local police have to send it to the county police. And then once they've vetted and realized, okay, we got a missing abduction, then boom, an Amber Alert goes out. So it's a kind of a slow process. So
Wow.
I think that's what allowed the family to basically roll deep as the numbers that they did when they pulled up to that Red Roof Inn, because they were calling each other, probably telling each other, "Hey, meet me over here. Meet me. This is where she's at. We got to go get her." So while nobody was watching the family, that basically allowed them to be able to get her. And I believe they somehow got her and basically staged her coming into the house. I believe she was at the house the whole damn time. I do. I believe when they got her from the
From
Red Roof
from
Inn,
Friday night or from Saturday? Because
exactly,
I mean,
from Friday night.
the sister-in-law, which I kind of heard that they're not even married, that's actually like a girl, whatever. But uh she heard her scream. So did she hang up and call the police and say, "My sister-in-law was just on the phone with me. She's waiting for police to arrive. She saw a baby over on the side of the road, and I just heard her scream. Please, are you sending help now?" Like, I don't know. Like me, my
If
sister called
if
me.
she
I'm
did,
already in the car. I'm calling the police, but I'm in the car getting there too. Like, I don't know. Like, this is so strange. I wish these people would come and just do a sit down, tell everything, and just squash it.
oh, that won't be
Um,
happening. That will not
well,
be
because I
happening.
mean, yeah, it's basically a federal case. I mean, it's just a mess
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
Um, and the only way I could see her not going to jail is if she sat and wrote an affidavit of every last second. And she's probably going to have a very long, like a probationary type period with a very large bill that is going to have to be paid. and no trouble for a very long period of time, or immediately you're going to be, and they may have her stand trial. And I mean, there could be so many different ways that this could play out, but
And the family
this
too.
is just the tip of the iceberg for
Yeah,
her.
don't forget the family, because you
Well,
you
of
got to
course, the
remember,
minute that they found out and
yeah,
they didn't close
and
the
they
loop
didn't
with
alert, right?
someone,
They didn't alert
there
authorities.
it's a problem.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they're going to be
it's a
able to
problem.
trace her. They're going to be able to trace her. And I have a feeling, because all of them had to turn over all their cell phones. So
Yeah,
they're going to
by
know,
warrant. They
right?
issued a warrant for them. It wasn't that they just were like, "Oh, here's my phone."
Yeah,
They
exactly.
issued a warrant and had to turn them mugs over. So,
Yeah.
hello,
So they're
Mr.
going to
John
know.
Q.
They're gonna know that the family knew that she was there. And I believe what they tried to do was they tried to basically talk her out of it and come home. And at some point in time, because see, you gotta understand, just about half of Hoover was basically locked down because they were looking for her. There were police everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's like about, I'm sure, so like a Birmingham and a Charlotte, that's like about if something like that happened here, because we're kind of like, you know what I mean, we're a city, but it's small, and a lot of, what I mean,
Hmm.
it's the 1 to 2 degrees of separation.
Right.
So yeah, that would shut everything down. People would be scared. People would be kind of nervous. Is there a
Hmm.
rash of kidnappings going on? We're looking for the girl. Is she going to be okay? Anaya Blanchard's mom is out. Like, it
Yep.
was enough to really scare the community. I was scared. I was talking to my husband about it. I'm like, oh my God, look what happened. This is awful. This is so scary. And even just watching on Twitter, people are mad. People like want to kick
Yeah.
her ass. Like, even like literally and figuratively, like people are pissed. This one girl was like, I called my grandmother and was asking for a prayer circle to send up
Hmm.
prayer for this girl. Um, I mean, it was a lot. Like, honestly, for me, when I was listening and I was aware of what was going on, but I really didn't even want to talk about it because it was so heavy and I was very afraid for her. Like, I remember the first night, I really didn't sleep and I kept thinking about it all night. And I was really scared for her. I was like, oh my God, I hope, because as we speak, somebody is in some sort of danger and trauma. You know what I mean? That's just the sad reality of the world that we live in. And it
Hmm.
was very scary hearing about it. And that she could just be anybody. She could be, she could just be anybody. She's a nursing student, a young girl, lives in the suburbs, all of the things, prime of her life, attractive. She has the boyfriend and all the things, and looked like she was, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And
Her
also,
story
yeah,
started falling apart. Her story
yeah,
started falling apart Saturday morning because people started really thinking about, okay, this kid being out on 459, and the area, like I said, the area where her vehicle was found is an area that is highly traveled. And to me, if you're gonna pick an area in Hoover or in the city of Birmingham, 459 is out of place. It would have made more sense if you would have picked an area that's like least traveled, somewhere, kind of off in the hood, where you would actually, where the story would actually be believable.
right, or just
And a lot
off
of
a
people that are
road.
from the area,
Mhm.
yeah, because at first I was like, there's just something in the story that don't make any sense. And I was traveling back from Charleston, South Carolina. I was in the airport watching the story basically unfold. And then for a minute, I started realizing by Saturday, this girl is lying. There's no way this happened.
Mm, 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 mm.
The way
It,
she
it,
said it, because I'm thinking conceptually in my mind, okay, I'm driving along I-65 and I come across a child on the side of the road. First of all, I'll be dialing 911, but I'm not finna go out there and grab the child.
Well, if you saw a kid, why are you going to run with your car behind a child? Aren't you going to? I mean, I'm not going to lie. I have stopped for a dog before and got out my car. I'm damn sure gonna stop for a kid. Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just I'm an animal person too. So I mean, I have stopped for dogs. Okay.
But the
So
description,
if I saw something to where I'm actually on the phone with 911, I see a kid, I'm gonna try to get as close as I can, stop my car, run, go get the baby. Like, hello, like where are you? Like, how did you? What's going on? What happened to you? But again, it's one of those things. Like, okay, but we know now that that was part of the hoax. Like, so it's almost like not
yeah,
even worth talking about because it doesn't make sense because it didn't happen. So we can
right.
almost rule that part out because it didn't happen. Hello, everyone coming in. And thank you to everyone who said hello. Some of the folks are saying that she's looking at least $100,000. I would say they're probably going to give her a 250K just for good measure. All of everything. They're going to rack up every single bill, every single phone call,
Oh
every
yeah.
single man hour. She's going to get it all. And you know, and I do think now that sis put the note out that she lied about everything, they need to
Hmm.
send that organization, Anaya's Heart, they need to send Mrs. Harris directly, her and her husband, a note apologizing. If Talitha made the phone call and invited that lady to come, that is
Hmm.
exactly who needs to call to say,
Yeah.
I am so sorry, my daughter is a pathological liar or whatever the hell it is. And they do owe her an apology at this moment. Yesterday, I was like, well, we don't know what the story is yet. So let's wait to see, because if the parents became aware at a certain point and they're still engaging with Anaya's parents, that's fucking
Hmm.
dead wrong. That's absolutely dead wrong. Um, the fact now that we all know that she hoaxed the story, it's time. It's very much appropriate now. But maybe also because it's a legal matter, they don't want to further implicate themselves. So now they have to be very careful. But if they don't issue some sort of apology soon, I don't even know if those people can go home because people are mad.
It's
And
going
they're
to be
watching
very,
their house.
yeah, it's going to be
People are
very
watching the
difficult.
house.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for them. And because of the simple fact is that the community, the Hoover community is it's not a very large community, um, as it is. I mean, you got different sectors of Hoover. And the thing of it is that the people that stopped what they were doing to start setting up fundraisers, I mean, that's what we do because we already know that when Black women actually are missing, that a lot of times you don't get the involvement of the number of law enforcement officers that this case got. So that's why people are enraged because people bona fidely thought that this girl had been kidnapped.
You
And
know,
people are just
they're
disingenuous by the
mad.
parents. Yeah, because the
Um,
parents kept the lie going too. Because if you remember in the I think it was the ABC interview, the mother even said that the are you kidding me?
What'd you say? Repeat what you just the last thing you said. You went in and
So
out for a sec.
So in the interview, the
Mhm.
mother mentioned the fact that the abductor, that she believed the abductor was still out there. The mother knew then that there was no abductor.
Ah, when she came home, I see what you're
Right.
saying. When she came home, Red Roof Inn had already happened
Yep.
and the potential cover up already started. So now they are
Exactly.
involved. Interesting.
Exactly.
Excellent point. Thank you for that clarification. Absolutely. So this right here is Carlos and Talitha Russell, Mr. Carlos Russell and Talitha Russell, Carlee's parents. They have fired. Let me see what date. What's the date on this? That's the 19th, which was 5 days ago.
Hmm.
They fired back at people accusing their daughter of staging the abduction. So they're double downing. Back at the on the 19th, a 25-year-old woman reportedly went missing on the 13th after leaving work at a business, the Summit of Birmingham. When
Hmm.
cops arrived at the scene, they were able to only recover her wig. That was always a very random um
Exactly.
detail, but I was like, "Her wig." I was like, "Did they snatch her wig off?" Like, it must have been a tussle. Like, that was my first like, "Damn, her wig, it must have been a tussle," right? But
Well,
it's
that
such a
was to make
random
it
detail that
Right.
makes it almost like comical at that point. Like it's
Yeah.
comical, but also
She's fighting for
scary
her
because
life.
she's fighting for her life with the wig. But then again, it was like, damn, she left her wig behind for good measure. Like, sis, you deserve, like, you, girl, I don't advocate, but I'm just saying, like, people are coming for you, sis. Like, you shouldn't have done all that. Even though a probe was launched to find her immediately, Carlee surprisingly returned home 2 days later on the 15th. Hoover Police Department said during the initial portion of the investigations, detectives were able to retrace nearly all of Carlee's steps until the point she went missing, and are confident that will continue to be the case. And we did see the press conference earlier, guys. If you didn't see it, slide the bar back. We watched it, I think, about 3 times. I did drop the Facebook link in the chat earlier if you want to go back and watch that. Um, I want to see if I can find them because I don't want anyone else's reading of. I want to read them myself because it was juicy.
Yeah.
Her going back and forth with the stripper. I mean, she tried to give that stripper a piece of her mind, because basically what it sounded like was Tim was choosing the stripper over her,
Over her.
and sis was pissed. Sis was like, okay, okay. Um, let's see. Carly Reese. So Talitha Robinson Russell and Carlos are the parents who've reportedly backed their daughter's abduction claim. um, I don't know. Talitha also took to Facebook. Okay, I haven't looked at her Facebook. We do ask for our privacy at this time. So you call heaven and earth to come
Mhm.
help, but now that sis is home, you want privacy. And we get it. If she had been brutally assaulted and raped and things like that, okay, sis was caught in a lie. Y'all gonna just have to eat that slice of humble pie. Like y'all gonna
Mhm.
like really and truly. I don't think it's that was kind of rude. You called heaven and earth shows up, and now you want privacy. So,
Well, word on the curb from
mm,
UAB, from the
mhm.
UAB personnel that, interacted with her when she was brought in, was that she did not come in looking like a person who had literally been fighting off captors. She had a couple of scratches, I think maybe one bruise on her arm, but even that was sus.
Mm.
So
Like I
she
said,
didn't,
it's not the crime, it's the cover up.
yeah,
And
she
they
didn't
did
have the
not think of the
presence.
cover up. Yeah, the
Yeah,
cover up was a fail. The whole cover up was
yeah.
a fail. That's why. And good, like at the end of the day, good. We don't need another woman raped and assaulted out here.
Mhm.
But the fact that you knew that she had not been raped and assaulted, the fact that she had to disclose at some point that this was all a hoax, for you
Mhm.
to take her to the damn hospital, to waste the people's time in the emergency room, to have people sit down and document this bogus ass, ridiculous, stupid story and waste people's time. Um, I don't know what these people do for a living, Mr. Carlos and Miss Talitha, but your reputations are in the on the shit can right now.
Oh, absolutely. I
It's
would not be
done.
surprised that they will, end up losing employment, if they're employed in a local area, because
Contracts, whatever.
one of
Yeah.
the largest electric companies, Southern Company and Alabama Power, those are, some of the larger companies. Plus we have other companies, banking and things of that nature. I don't know what type of field that the Russells work in, but obviously if they're affluent enough to buy their daughter a Mercedes Benz, they must be doing something. I know they do not work for the Department of Veterans Affairs. that is that is a
Well,
definite
her
no.
sis appears to be a real estate agent, and her Keller Williams page either is crashing or was taken down. Let me go to realtor.com. Sis is a realtor. Hold on one
Okay.
second. Sis is a realtor. I was getting ready to go look at her on LinkedIn. Sis appears to be a realtor, and let's see. Um, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this well or not, but she is a realtor. Talitha Robinson Russell, passionate and diligent realtor, wife, mother to two, and Mimi, one grandson. So is Carlee a mother? Who's the
No,
mother?
I
Okay,
think
it's the son.
it's the son.
It's her son who's got the
Hmm.
child. Okay, got that. Um, it's just she brings 12 years of real estate experience, knowledge, and passion. Da, 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 da. You guys see this. Sis is a realtor. Okay. Um,
And she may lose her license.
if she was lying,
Yeah,
I guess whatever the
it's
stipulations are around her license and they said another word on the curb type thing is that potentially she was that Carlee could have been um chilling over in a vacant property, but that's just, we don't know if that's true or not. Um
yeah. I highly doubt it. I mean, like I said, I think the Red Roof Inn thing was kind of like where Carlee was held up. Now I don't know the situation with the so-called underage minor that they alleged that she could have been with. There's really not a whole lot of information in regards to that, but I do believe that for a fact once the family knew that she had not been abducted, they had the opportunity to call it off. But I think by that time they realized their daughter was too far into this whole, situation. And that basically they were trying to protect her reputation
mhm.
versus protecting, you know, you know, just demeaning this whole process because
Mm,
that's
mm, mm,
really
mm,
is
mm.
what that's inflaming the community because the community rallied around this family. I mean, churches,
Oh, I saw them out there doing a whole prayer vigil for her.
yeah. Hmm. I mean,
Well,
that's
and
what we do in the community.
look at this on LinkedIn. They're like, let's see if the media gives this attention. Let's see if the media gives us this attention. They gave 5 white missing billionaires in a submarine. So, it's the playing one situation against another. And it's so unfortunate because it's quite embarrassing at this moment that people
Hmm.
wanted to call things out and, you know what I mean? Like, girl, and it's a whole hoax. Like, it's unfortunate that it had to have this aspect attached to it, in my opinion, just because it turned out to be a damn fucking host. I mean, a hoax. Okay, that's unfortunate. But you sometimes do have to call things out to call things out. Um, I don't know what Mr. Carlos does. Let's see. 13 things to know. Okay. I'm looking to see what I see about Sir, what Mr. Carlos what's the word on the internet curb about Mr. Carlos Russell, these public figures that are in the news because of their daughter and could be implicated in a cover up um, to the unfortunate missing and abduction of their daughter that went on far too long, that turned out to be a hoax, and
Hmm.
now could be further implicated along with their daughter in a crime now, trying to help with a cover up.
Right.
Um, this is awful because these people are not young. They're not old by
Mm-mm.
any means, but they're in their 40s, and there is
Hmm.
no time to be recouping from someone from your reputation being fucked up like this.
Absolutely.
This is awful.
Yeah.
Carlos Russell is an American man from Hoover, Alabama, United States. He earned his bachelor's degree in business administration and management from Faulkner University in Montgomery. Russell is 1 year older than his wife Talitha. She gave birth to Kaimari. Aside from Hoover, Carlos has lived in other parts of Alabama, including Alexander City and Montgomery. Here are 13 things you should know. Look at, I mean, these are people that show up to Jack and Jill. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
These are black folks from these are black society folk, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
wearing gowns and tuxedos and let's see, he's on some website and they are giving us that he's got his bio out here. Okay. He is let's see, in January 2018 he joined the BBVA in Birmingham as a vice president and a senior commercial underwriter. Okay. In May 9th of 2021, he took to Facebook and shared a photos of himself, to Leah and Carlee Johnson and Johnson's son. In a caption, he wrote, "The Facebook family typically were not posters, but couldn't let the day go without saying Happy Mother's Day to my amazing wife." Okay. He and Talitha visited Napa Valley, California. They are the type of folks that are over at Jack and Jill. They are over there at 100 Black Men. They are society black folks, and they have fucked that up now. They might have a golf membership, okay? Um, oh well. Oh well. They said he worked at Regions Bank in Hoover as an assistant vice president. Now, in banking, assistant vice president is kind of a tricky uh title because sometimes in banking, like everyone's an AVP. But he is a senior commercial underwriter. What is BBVA, Bama girl? Oh, maybe Bama girl put us on hold, guys.
So BBVA is
Mhm.
um. Oh, hold on.
Well,
I'm
they
back
say he
now.
works for Wells Fargo. So he's been in banking for a minute. He
Yeah.
started working at Wells Fargo in 2002 to 2008. So he's been in banking and mortgage. So we're looking at Wells Fargo, Regions Bank, and now the BBVA. So he was working in some sort of mortgage
Yeah.
as a senior commercial underwriter. So he was working his way through the business community. They say he's also an MBA, and then the wife is a prominent real estate agent. He was 49 years old. So Sir is right about 50. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
49, 50. Um, this too old to be dealing with this bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
To have him mixed up in this stuff, or himself rather. Cause when they realized what was going on, they needed to cut it immediately and let Carlee know, like, we're gonna take that long drive downtown and you're gonna tell these people what happened. Cause we
Yeah.
got mortgages and car payments and investments and memberships and friends. And we've engaged the whole entire community. You're going to go explain yourself and we're out of it. You're 25, getting ready to be 26. I'm sorry. That's what I would have done. I know some people will go to the ends of the earth to protect their children. You cannot protect your children doing the wrong thing. And now everybody is, they're going to have, you know what I mean? They're going to end up spending a lot of money that was probably set for retirement and all kinds of stuff.
Oh
And
yeah.
thanks to their daughter. Like, I'm sorry. You would have to, like, at 26, I'm not going to leave you out there by yourself, but I'm not taking the hit with you. There's just no way. There's no
Yeah, but
way.
I think for the family is trying to save face because their reputation is on the line now. And I think
But you
that
look
was
worse trying to cover up a lie.
right. Exactly. And that's the whole point of this thing. It's like I don't think they realized at that moment in time that they were going to be implicated in this. I think they
Mm,
thought
mm,
that
mm,
they were
mm.
doing the right thing to save her from the humiliation of everything being exposed. But you just made yourself an even bigger target. Because like I said,
Y'all are,
at the end of the day,
yeah, go ahead.
he's gonna lose his job because he does work for some of the most prominent banks in Birmingham. Wells Fargo, BBVA is it's a regional bank, so they're different locations, but it is one of the top banking financial institutions in Birmingham aside from Regions. So yeah, he's going to be ostracized. The community is going to cut this family off, and I'm sure that there's probably ties to sororities like Delta Sigma Theta, aka Kappa, Alpha Psi. I'm sure he's either a member, he might even be an Omega. And I'm gonna tell you right now, he's not gonna get any support from the fraternities and sororities because, like I said, Hoover is a small community, and it's a very affluent community. Some of the best schools, are in that particular area. So they are going to face a lot of ridicule, and it's warranted because of everything that was orchestrated. And I think what's going to happen, because of the simple fact, is that once the district attorney is able to get all the necessary evidence, the next thing you're going to start seeing is both the parents arrested and the daughter arrested.
Ooh, 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 ooh. That is a shame. That is
And
for
I don't
shame.
and I don't think it's going to be on state charges. It's going to be on federal charges because those are going to be the charges that they cannot plea down, and they will serve some time plus give up money. So you're talking about an entire family that basically is going to
And
go down for these lies,
yeah, when
as
you
they
see
should.
the overtones of how angry people are, I mean, there, so, there people get angry out here. Like when, I'm not trying to bring up the Clintons, but when they were like, send Hillary Clinton I mean, it was on the level of the anger and the venom
Hmm.
of that. Like it was just, and then here is this black upper middle class doing. These people were probably good for about 200-300. I mean, between Sir, commercial underwriter, making nice big bonuses, he might have been making 200 himself. His wife
Hmm.
could have been clearing 150, 200. I mean, they could have been good for probably 250 to 400. These people are making some money.
Yeah.
And I hope they have money saved because that money is going to be drying up soon if they lose their jobs, lose their credibility, have license, where the businesses might say, look, not so much of a termination, but we're going to need for you to take a sabbatical and handle your legal affairs. And
Hmm.
we'll be here. And then slowly over time, then, they're going to separate themselves at the end of the day. And if
Absolutely.
there's some sort of clause that they can get in there, they're not going to fire them today for any of these reasons because they can't. But if your public persona interferes with the business at hand, they can ask you to take a paid, unpaid sabbatical. We're going to give you 90 days paid, or we're going to let you take this time, that time. They'll work it out depending
Well,
on what their leveling is
in
with the
in
companies.
Alabama, we are a right to hire, right to fire state. So they don't need any reason to terminate their employment.
I
They can
I
terminate their
get you, but
employment
with
immediately.
but they won't.
Oh,
They
trust
won't
me,
because
they
you're not.
will. No, they
Well, we'll
will.
we'll we'll keep our eye on it. I mean,
Yeah. These
she's a
are
she's a real estate person. So if, public persona can have something to do with people asking you to sit on the bench, especially if you're involved in criminal activity. But you are not convicted guilty until you are convicted guilty. So just because the court of public opinion is at your neck doesn't mean you lose your job, but they can suspend you, they can bench you, they can do lots of different things. But if it's, what I mean, you don't want to get involved in a wrongful termination in a very high profile situation, especially with him being like an employee. So I
well, I,
would,
I
we'll just,
think I think because of the fact that a lot of it is very difficult to maintain that level of prominency in that community. And
no, I get it. I
most of
don't think
these,
he's going back to work anytime soon. I
yeah,
just don't
yeah.
think they're going to fire him. I think they're going to ask him to take some sort of paid, unpaid leave um, at this moment.
Well, I think it will also to depend on the investigation and how that goes because of the fact
Right.
that once it comes out that the parents knew that she was not missing, oh, you're going to see terminations. This is a
Yeah.
good old boy network here in Alabama. So, money talks and they don't want that hanging over in a financial institution where you got an individual because now they're going to start looking in the background. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just to make
financially.
sure his
Yeah.
situation is very clean with all transactions
Hmm.
and stuff. So
Oh,
let's do
absolutely.
this because this is a great topic, and we're not leaving Alabama no time soon. Definitely, Bama girl, if you hear anything, please continue to let us know. You
I'll be
mentioned
back in
something before about
Birmingham on Wednesday. So
because you're leaving. You're leaving out. You said you were in Charleston. Are you
no, I'm back home. I'm back. I've been back
okay? Okay,
home
okay, okay,
since this started, but I work
okay. Got
at
it.
the Birmingham VA on Mondays and
Right.
Wednesdays.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I will be back down there, and we go over to UAB to eat breakfast, to eat lunch sometimes.
Mhm.
So there's talk. There's a lot of talk going on. There's a lot of chatter going on because there's constantly, the media trucks out there. The district where the medical district is, where UAB is centrally located, it's right next door to the VA. So
Got
we
it.
see everything, and there's so much going on from construction. So as the investigation continues, you will probably see more and more information coming out. I do know from a couple of residents that are actually over at UAB. There are a lot of people that know more than what is being said. So that's kind of how I've been listening and kind of reading the tea leaves about, this young lady's background, and kind of her
Mm-mm-mm.
situation with nursing school, because essentially she was failing. She was failing, failing in a
So,
relationship, failing
mhm.
in nursing school, and, then whatever other, if there was any kind of mental issues with her, it's the culmination of all of it, because it is, I hate to say it seems like someone crying out for help, but on a level that to me, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so it's awful. I don't feel bad for them because if the parents were aware that sis has been struggling, she's,
Hmm.
pathological liar, let's just say. Sis doesn't mind telling a story or two. Um, she needed to get some help a long time ago, and it's incumbent upon the parents to do, you know what I mean? Like, if this
Yeah.
isn't the first time this has happened, then now was not the time because you know what I mean? Now it's gone so far that your daughter really needed it's past cute. It's not
Hmm.
cute anymore. Now jobs, homes, retirement. These people are 50 years old. Like that's not old, but when you get to be 50, any of you listening who are not, just imagine 35, 30, you're working, you buy yourself a house, you are raising up your kids, and now you're 50, you're getting close to maybe you've paid off your house, you got a couple, some 5, 6 figures saved. You get to go to Cozumel every now and again, you go to balls and banquets, and you've elevated in your career, and your daughter is with the foolishness, and now you're going to have to write a big ass check or pay for a fancy lawyer in a pinstripe suit, and you're
Hmm.
looking at broke.
Yeah.
Like,
They've
I
essentially
would
lost
be
everything.
pissed. I would be
Yeah.
pissed. I would be me just looking at what's going on. I would be pissed. I would be so mad. And if
Yeah, they've
I let
essentially
this
lost
problem
everything.
persist to where this girl is out here doing this type of foolishness and we didn't nip it in the bud when she was 12 or 13, lying and
Hmm.
carrying on and foolishness and hysterics and whatever. Oh man, I would be so mad. I
Yeah.
would be it almost it makes me mad thinking about it. Because this girl seems to be still living at their house.
Yeah, she
Was she
is.
still
She
living at
still,
home?
yeah, she still lives at home. She still lives at home.
26 with a Mercedes, living at home and with the
Hmm.
bullshit.
Yeah.
She should have
The
been in an
parents,
apartment after she graduated from college and going to nursing school and taking her ass to her own place. So
yeah,
she's been very spoiled and kept up.
yeah. Hmm.
And now they're going to be having to, like, their finances could be in ruins after this happens because they're getting ready. That retainer that they paid for this man, Emery, the lawyer's
Hmm.
name is Emery. Do you know his name? Emery Robinson. Emery, hold
I
on one
mean,
second. Emery,
I think it's Roberts or
Emery,
Robinson, something like that.
girl, I just had it up and I took it down. This man looks expensive. They wrote him at least a $20,000 check. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't nothing for them to have to write him about a $20,000. And we'll let you know next week how much more we need. They're getting ready to clear out the bank account dealing with this. It's going to cost them at least $100,000 just
Absolutely.
in legal fees. Like, I would be whooping her ass.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much. Way too much. This is awful. Bama girl, you're amazing. Thank you for coming and giving us the boots on the ground in
You're
the
welcome.
Alabama, Bama girl, perspective and everything going on in your community. We really appreciate it. We'll be back and covering this because it's GOC. And
Mhm.
but let me tell you, I think I was going to ask you something else really quick. You mentioned fraternities. What do you think, real quick? We know what's going on with Shirley Strawberry and Mr. Ernest Williams. Why do you think Steve Harvey, who is a fraternity guy, is still like people have a lot of theories as to why Shirley's still there, Shirley's still reporting for work, nobody is talking about it. You don't see a whole lot of press on it. And I'm talking about the news, Atlanta news coverage. I check almost every day to see if there's any updates from, kind of word on the street in Atlanta, outside of bloggers, just anything new. It's silence.
Well, it's
I
it's gone
mean,
federal. It's gone federal. A lot of his charges because the state
absolutely, yeah.
the state laws on pornography are not as stringent, or they're not as tough as the federal. So when the feds get involved, it's pretty much like a gag order on the entire case. So
Yeah, they're not gonna they don't
yeah, they're not letting anything go. And with all the racketeering charges he has for
mm,
possibly money laundering, I can guarantee you that you've got probably FBI involved. You probably have them going through, hundreds of thousands of his records in these businesses. And then remember, his accomplice was also in Florida. So
and
you've
sis was
got
she was impersonating an attorney for years.
exactly,
She was
exactly.
impersonating. So why so look, two different situations. The Gilgo, Long Island serial killer. His wife finds out homie is a murdering weirdo psychopath. Sis goes and applies and for files for divorce immediately.
Hmm. Hmm.
Why is Shirley Strawberry still dealing with this dude? Do you think, like, what do you think is going on here? Because people are wanting to know, like, okay, you're still reading the Strawberry Letter every day, and you are not saying a word
I think
about
Shirley
this
knew.
foolishness that is going on. And part of it, they said allegedly 4 of the photographs. I don't want to say too much, but 4 of the photographs that were found were close family members, including family
Yeah.
members, blood of Shirley's.
Yes. Yes. I believe she knew what he was doing and
I'm so
tried to
floored.
cover it up.
Mm-mm. Girl.
That's
Okay,
why.
well, I like I said, I search every day to see if there's any
Yeah.
updates, because I wanna keep Bougie Gang informed,
Oh yeah.
because that's a story that we're following also, and it's absolutely egregious. It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what is happening, and I think one of the things, it's now that this thing has gone public, and especially the allegations about the child, the other stuff,
CP. Mhm.
yeah, um, it has now kind of driven a wedge between her and her immediate family, because I believe, and from all accounts, that it is one of her grandchildren.
She's 69 years old. Now is not
Hmm.
the time to be alone and old.
Hmm.
No offense to
Well,
anybody 70, but if you have a daughter and like this is not the time to be separating and sticking by a absolutely laundry list man who is never coming back home. This is not the time to stick by this guy. It's done. It's over.
Well,
He's not
no,
coming home. He's not getting out. He's got almost
the
$1 million now in
a bond.
bailed.
Hmm.
So there's when you go and look at all of his charges and all of the bail, if you add everything up, like it's right at $1 million.
Yeah,
And
but I
clearly
think
she doesn't want to pay. Like she's not pay. It doesn't look like she's paying anytime soon.
no, she doesn't have that kind of money, and I think that's why it was alleged that the plan was to try to get him to Dubai. So
Yeah, but
before,
he would have to be out on bail to do that. Like he's still in Cobb County.
right? But I believe it was initially planned to get him out before the charges came down.
Oh, well, too late for
Because
that.
remember,
Because
yeah,
yeah.
remember he's been in jail for over a year. And so when they locked him up, basically, not all of the charges and not all of the investigation was complete. So
Yeah,
I
they
think
had
they were
some things, but they
trying,
didn't have everything. They had enough to
right,
hold him, but they
exactly.
didn't have. They were still in the process of like, discovery, and but they had some charges, and did not give him bail, and he was
Right.
still under investigation. But I think after they were privy to those phone conversations, because
Hmm.
jailhouse calls are not private.
That's
Um,
correct.
and he was monitored listening. They monitored listening to him and the lady in Florida, Miss Erica, whatever her name is, I forgot,
Hmm.
um, and his wife, that I think they hurried to kind of make some more things happen, because it is approaching the time where they would have to either let him out or pursue some
Charging.
additional charges.
Right.
And they went ahead and hurried and got more of what they needed. People were coming forward. I think also because that woman was let out with just a signature bond, his
Hmm.
accomplice. But I think her, and the district attorney basically kind of was like, we're not going to discuss those conditions of why she got a signature bond. I think that's probably obvious that she is she's
Yeah.
dropping the tea.
Oh yeah, she's dropping
Because
the
it's always
T.
just a matter of time before someone is going to speak, because she's got all kinds of charges from impersonating a attorney,
Hmm.
acting in a legal capacity, so fraud, misrepresentation. They have her for theft and uttering and stealing and financial crimes, and she's got a laundry list of things herself. She might be dropping the T so that she can
Can get
get.
a plea
Yeah,
bargain. She's gonna
yeah.
try to get a plea bargain. But
Girl,
I will I
T
will
for a
say
plea.
this. Exactly. I will say this. In light of Shirley Strawberry, I think the old adage goes, a piece of man is better than no man at all. And that is the
Girl, that
problem.
piece ain't no good. That's not a good
Exactly.
piece. Girl,
Exactly.
she needs to call into Love Lies and Lace Fronts. I tell her that, girl, that's not a
Dear
good piece, boo
friend,
boo.
dear
Girl, that is not a
friend.
good piece. You need to let that piece go. That piece is not worth anything. Let that piece go,
Okay.
because he can't do anything for you, sis. He's done. He is
Yeah. But
done.
I think this was something that had to been going on for a while. And, Shirley, because of her persona and, the persona that wedding got, because remember, that wedding was covered by Essence magazine. It was a
Girl,
whole
yes.
spread
Mm-hmm.
about her
It was a
wedding.
thing.
you
Yes.
know so it was almost as if they're saying, okay, we've got, Shay's got to protect her reputation because her reputation's on the line. Well, honey, your reputation's going to be on the line regardless, because you sat up there and you laid with this man while obviously he was doing other things and was not attracted to you you
Girl,
know
a mess. Awful.
and
Awful.
what looks good in person isn't always good for you.
Right. Awful. Bama girl, you always come and bring it whenever you come to visit. I mean, obviously in the chat, but whenever you come and call in, I always so appreciate it. You're such a doll. I appreciate you coming through and having a chitty chat with me
Oh, you're
and
welcome.
everyone in the chat. Guys, thank Bama Girl in the chat. We'll do this again if we'll be covering this, of course, but anytime, we'd love to have you back on the panel to give us your perspective on these things. But yeah, Shirley and Mr. Ernesto, people are quite interested in when we cover that topic. So yeah, I appreciate you chiming in on that. And then definitely we are on Carlee Russell, girl. Carlee, Mr. Carlos, and
Oh yes,
Talitha. Um,
Talitha.
and brother might be mad. Carlee's brother might be mad for looping in his lady
Oh
into
yeah,
this foolishness. He might be
absolutely,
mad,
absolutely.
because she's an innocent bystander, and if sister is manipulative like that, that's no good. That's no good. He might be very upset with his sister for creating this drama and looping in his boo thing.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, there's more to come, I think, on Carly. Hopefully, I'm thinking by the end of the week, I think
mhm.
they're going to, have charges that they're
Mm.
probably going to release. Of course, they'll give probably her an opportunity to turn herself in, via, some sort of agreement, but I think they are, at this point in time, trying to get as much evidence off those phones because that's going to take some time. The forensic labs, that they use in Quantico for the FBI, those have to go to Quantico. It takes time to do all the analysis and all the tracking. But I think they will have enough to be able to issue a warrant for their arrest, and they'll probably let them out on a conditional bond, but I definitely see charges coming down by the end of the week.
Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Because I'm going to tell
Well,
you, Kay Ivey, our governor, she don't play that.
mm-mm-mm. Well, it is what it is. Look, I mean, I hate it for her, but she should have thought better before she did something so silly.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
that
Absolutely. Or
was
at
that
least
was a mistake.
come up with something that's actually believable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If
but a
you're going to,
hoax is a hoax. So sis
yeah, it
sis was dead
is.
wrong, and she's gonna have to deal with it. And we're gonna be watching, and we're gonna be talking about it for sure because it is a whole entire mess.
Yeah, and it's
It's a
it's
whole mess.
really, but I guarantee you, there's about what 36 more days till college football kicks off. In about 3 weeks, this story is going to die down, at least in the States, because college
Mhm.
football will be starting, and her news story is going to fade from the news cycle. Because this is college football country, in Alabama.
Right.
So the news story will slowly fade, but obviously from a national perspective. But I think
Yeah,
going
people will
forward,
still be keeping their eye out on it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But it's definitely going to fade. But like I said, I think they will possibly have charges to the point where, they can execute some sort of surrender, for her to have her mugshot taken on some form of charges, specifically the federal charges, of initiating a hoax involving a kidnapping. Um, I think there's more than enough evidence for them to be able to get her on that alone.
I mean, at the end of the day, people do not like rich kids getting away with shit. Like,
Yeah.
we've all heard of like the affluenza, right?
Hmm.
When you hear about kids going amok, which of course this story, Alec Murdoch, that ended very tragically for the young man who was involved in the boating accident with the young girl that the dad tried to cover it up and all of that. But Alec killed his wife and his son. His son was involved in a boating accident, and there was a cover up of that, and along with many other things. If you met up with the Murdochs, it's a good chance it wouldn't go well for you. They had a
Oh no.
lot of very bad dealings in South Carolina. Anyway, long story short, people don't like hearing about these kids of influential people getting away in some cases with murder, and
Yeah.
also wasting the people, the working people of these areas money, because some people get very mad at these kids who have it all, and take the time of people who are less fortunate than them, and
Right.
feel like they're being taken advantage of. And I think that the people are pissed, obviously, in your community. So yeah, I don't think it's going to go well for sis. So good for her. Football season is coming, but it's they'll still be tuning in. They'll be still tuning in for the perp walk, for her to show up in court. It's going to be on Law and Crime. It's going to be on Court TV. Nancy Grace is probably booking flights.
Oh
All
yes.
of the things, girl. You know, all of the good, and you already know the people on YouTube, girl. The super sleuths they keep talking about, the social media sleuths, girl. They're on it. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Me
It's
personally, I'm not a sleuth. I just like to talk about it, but um very it's an interesting situation. So
Yeah, well, I will definitely keep you down with the tea if I hear
absolutely, thank
anything.
you.
Additionally, like I said, I'll be down in Birmingham on Wednesday, and I'm sure there's going to possibly be, the charges coming down by the end of the week. Worst case scenario, I think the federal charges are the ones that they'll probably be able to get her on faster than state
Mm-mm-mm.
charges, because they'll carry a higher weight. But I think at this point it's going to be a negotiation of getting her and the parents, because I think at this point they're going to go after the parents, because clearly the parents knew what was going on, and it just wasted a lot of resources that had to be literally put to work, because we're talking about a small community that is having to focus primarily on just that case, and you got other
Right.
cases here that need the same amount of attention. But because this is a high profile, it's in the mainstream media, it's caught the attention nationally. This is really tarnishing the community. I hate to say it's putting a stain on the community because of the fact that
And yeah,
this is where it occurred.
and if they ratcheted her up the list because she's affluent, because it was more high profile, because they called in Angela Harris,
Hmm.
um that's they're gonna be throwing the book, but that's her parents' fault, because I think they asked her, they made those phone calls and whatever the case might be. But sis, we're gonna talk about this again. I mean, we might talk about it again tomorrow.
Okay.
See if there's any other angles for us to cover, but this will be something we'll continue to cover over here. I thank everyone for coming through. Thank you so much, sis. Have a good evening. I'm gonna drop you down, okay, sis?
You too. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, take care. Y'all, thank you so much. This was a very long live, 2.5 hours. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, you know what I mean? We wanted to get some information and, some entertainment. We had some chit chat about it. I saw all of you guys' comments. We'll get into some more on this tomorrow. As this story continues to develop, we'll continue to talk about it. Journal Girl, I see you, boo boo. Thank you to everyone who came through January, everybody, Hairbug, Cham Cham, all of you guys. You guys are awesome. This was fun, right? I love seeing you guys over here. Thank you to everyone who came through. We had a guy in the mist, Mr. John Q. Okay, looks like he's interested in billiards. So thank you, sir, for coming through. Thank you to everybody in the bushes. Hey, Tara and Bailey, everyone. Hopefully, I did not miss you. Blessed lady, Tara. Um, all of my girls, Ms. Corey, Bougie Gang. Thank you for coming through. You guys are awesome. Natalie Wassenbeck Green, girl, hey boo boo. Thank you to everyone for supporting and coming to support the content over here, because it's fun. I mean, we love talking about what we love to talk about over there on Love Lies and Lace Fronts, but it's fun over here. Tomorrow morning, we're going to do a top to bottom reaction on our girl over there, Keisha Carlee. Girl, that's a joke. But yeah, Keisha Carlee, over there, over to Camel Toe Realty, girl. Okay. All right, y'all. If you are over here, you're new to my channel and you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my front page and go ahead and click on Love Lies and Lace Fronts. That's where we do reactions, reviews, and commentary on the YouTube channels, girls, sometimes TikTok, Instagram, social media that you love to watch. Okay. That's what we do that over there. Okay. If you're not subscribed over there, get into it. Come check me out over here. Otherwise on Real Talk Bougie. And I will see you next time we go live, post another video or anything else. Okay. Bye guys. Take care. Have a good night.